Yeah, hey Justin. I guess just simply what wasn't working from a pass defense standpoint in the first half, and then what kind of changed a little bit in the second half to allow you guys to have a little bit more success.
I mean, we weren't making nearly as many plays. We weren't being competitive. We weren't challenging the routes. We knew coming in. We talked about it all week. Their record is not indicative of how they play, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, I know they're top five in passing. It might even be way higher than that. And Matt Ryan does a great job. Obviously, they were without Ridley today, but they do a great job offensively, finding ways to get guys open in the passing game. And we knew that coming in, especially in the secondary. We knew it was going to be a big game for us, and we didn't compete nearly as much as we should have and could have. So that was pretty much the biggest thing.
Next one, Coach.
Yeah, Justin, with AJ and Bryce out, you had a lot of guys in there who hadn't played a whole lot of defensive snaps for you this year. What was the challenge in the back end of trying to get everybody, I guess, set up in the right spots?
Yeah, it's a lot of communication. That's why it's so important to be locked in throughout the week. And, if you're a backup guy, to be ready when your number's called, to be locked in on meetings because, it's football. You never know what can happen. You're not guaranteed to finish the game. You're not guaranteed to always be out there. It's 100% injury rate when you're playing football. And so we got when your numbers call, you got to be ready. And we just didn't make enough plays, especially in that first half, not even close to enough. And that's just that's on us. We want to win games like that, especially on the road. You got to pack your defense. And we didn't even give ourselves a chance. Fought back hard in the second half, but that first half was just terrible by us. We got to play way better.
Follow up on Nick's point about the young corners, the safety. How much did you have to communicate with them more pre-snap as opposed to AJ and Bryce?
Just a little bit more. It wasn't anything crazy, but you got younger guys in there. You got to be able to communicate. You got to be able to be on the same page in the back end. You got to see routes the same way. You got to see formations the same way. And so we got guys out there that haven't played as much football as Bryce and AJ. You just got to be able to communicate a little bit better. And that stuff shows, especially when, you're doing the types of things that we want to do defensively. So, and it's not any one guy's fault. This is a collective effort. You don't live off of one guy's success and you don't die by one guy's failures. Defense is an 11-man unit. We could have just been better all around as a unit to be able to help each other out. And we weren't, like I said, I keep harping on it, but, it's the truth. We just not nearly good enough to be able to win and win against any team in the league with that.
Next one, Mike, please.
Justin, just for being around here 4 years, where the team is at now, it seems like you're getting there. You guys are coming, but you're not quite there yet. How would you agree with that assessment, or how would you assess your team?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think when you look at it, there are some times where we show that we're a hell of a football team, in all three phases. And then there's games where we just don't put it all together, like this one, first half. And I'm just talking from a defensive standpoint. Like, you're not going to win any game playing that type of defense in the first half. Then, second half it looked a lot better, but a lot of times in the league, you don't have that type of what do I want to say? You can't always do that. You can't always expect to have the type of game that we had against the Chargers, where you can come back, 24-3 and win a football game. You're just not going to be able to do stuff like that week in and week out in the NFL. So the point is, we got to be able to play a full game. And there's a lot of inconsistencies in that. And defensively, we got to figure out, what can we do to start fast and then to keep that momentum, the rest of the game. So we can put ourselves in position to win football games.
Maybe this is a philosophical question. You know a lot of sports is between the years. In this particular year where you don't know whether you're going to practice or not, maybe from day to day, and you don't know whether Shelby Harris and you have young guys coming in, is it even more of a mental, psychological challenge for this team and every team this particular year?
Oh, for sure. And that's not an excuse. That's just the
Yeah.
reality. That's just what it is. You know, it's and I think put it in perspective, and we're talking just outside of football. Like this is a reality for everyone, an avenue that everyone's trying to get through, right? Trying to filter through. There's parents at home that are. It's a two-parent working household trying to figure out, okay, well, how are we going to be able to work when my kids can't go to school? And you know, like mentally that's become stressful. So not to compare the two because they're not comparable, but football, you know, you got wake up, get ready to go, practice is canceled, you got to have, you know, morning meetings. I mean, those are just things that the NFL is all about adjusting, being able to adjust and being able to go execute. And you know, this week we had a couple curveballs and we can't let that affect us on Sunday. You know, we got to go out and we got to be able to be on top of it just as if we had a great week of practice. And those are some of the things that, you know, as a young team, you got to learn and you got to be able to do those things and you got to be able to go and hit the ground running. And that's just the reality of it. It's not, like I said, it's not an excuse. That's just the reality. There's weeks you're not going to be able to practice and you got to go out Sunday and find a way to win the game.
It's time for a few more extra break.
Justin, I guess what's the emotional swing like when you do have the first half struggles? You come out, you get the big pick to start the second half, and then the offense isn't able to do anything with it. So I know you guys obviously continue to play better in the second half, but just kind of that emotional roller coaster and not coming away with anything after that pick.
Yeah. You know, we talked about, obviously in the locker room defensively, we said, you know, like no point fingers. It's on us. We dug ourselves in this hole. When we come back out here, offense is going to go down and score. And we say this at halftime, and we got to be able to come out with the takeaway or a 3 and out to keep our momentum high. And we obviously answered with that. And then, you know, the way it works is it happens. You know, our offense wasn't really able to do much with it, and then right back out. It's, hey, you know, this is our fault. We gotta continue. We can't just think, oh, one takeaway, we did our job, and you know, the rest of the game is on the offense. Like, no, we got to continuously push this if we're going to be in position to win football games. So, you know, there's that roller coaster of emotions that guys can go through, but it's when that's when your leaders need to step up and say like, nah, nip that in the bud. We come back out here, we do the same thing, and we keep executing the way that the Broncos defense knows how to execute.
Justin, earlier you said that you guys didn't compete nearly as much as you could have and should have, and of course, talking about the struggles early, why do you think that's happening?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it could be a handful of different things. I think the biggest point to that is just being confident in what we're doing, the play calling, and in each other. And there's, like you said, you know, there's so many uncertainties that happen throughout the week, and just going to keep harping on that it's not an excuse, just a reality. And when you're out there, and your number is called, we got to be able to step up, you know, as a unit, know where our strengths are, know where our weaknesses are, and execute. And that's just the biggest thing, you know. That's definitely something we're going to, you know, at least myself, go back and look at, like, why, you know, what was the biggest difference the first half and why we competed more in the second half. Like, we can't expect to always be able to have a game like we did against, you know, the Chargers. That's unrealistic expectations. We got to be able to come in, execute as a defense, get takeaways, set our offense up on a short field, have some momentum-changing plays to set us up to be able to win football games. So I know I'm kind of prolonging this answer. You know, long story short is I'm not sure. You know, we just got to be able to be more competitive. And like I said, if it's a start of the game thing, then we need to address that. The leaders on the defense need to address that, and we need to find ways to get going so we can sustain that the rest of the game.